There are 5 things you can do to your own air conditioner that the companies who service it would rather you never learn. Not because they're hard, because every one of them is a $10 or $20 job that shows up on summer invoices as $200, $300, and $400. And a couple of them, they'll look you straight in the eye and tell you you're not allowed to touch. You are. My name's Ray Dutton. I'm a retired HVAC pro. I spent 25 years doing these exact 5 jobs out of a company truck, and I saw what the office billed for every single one of them. Today I'm handing you all 5, and I've saved the biggest for last because it's the #1 repair call in the entire country, the one that's bought more new service trucks than any other part on your unit, and it's a $10 part. Let's get into it. Number 1, washing the outdoor coil. Go stand next to your outdoor unit and look at the thin metal fins wrapped around it. That's the coil, and it has one job: throwing the heat from inside your house into the outside air. Now look closer, because on most units in this country it's wearing a coat. Cottonwood fluff, grass clippings from every pass of the mower, dust, pollen, dryer lint, all matted into a gray blanket over those fins. A machine that lives by shedding heat can't shed it through a blanket, so the system runs longer to do the same job, and your electric bill creeps up 10, 20, even 30% while you're blaming the power company. Now, I'll be honest with you because that's how we do things in this garage. A dirty coil almost never kills your AC this week. What it does is quieter and worse. It shaves years off the compressor, the $2,000 heart of the machine, while overcharging you every single month it runs. Here's what the industry does with that. They sell you the tune-up, $70 to $250 a visit, or the maintenance plan at $150 to $400 a year. And the main event of that visit, the thing you're actually paying for, is a man standing at your unit with a hose and a can of foam. So be the man with the hose. Kill the power at the disconnect box next to the unit first, every time, no exceptions. Then a garden hose, top down, at an angle. Never a pressure washer. It folds those fins over like wet paper. A $9 can of foaming coil cleaner handles what the hose won't. Spray it on, wait 10 minutes, rinse. Bent fins from the weed trimmer? A $6 fin comb straightens them right out. Cut the bushes back 2 feet while you're standing there so the thing can breathe. 20 minutes, once a season, and you just performed the most valuable half of a $200 tune-up. That's the job they sell the hardest. The next one is the job they wait by the phone for. Number 2, the drain line. Your air conditioner doesn't just cool your air, it wrings the water out of it, 5 to 20 gallons a day in humid weather. And every drop of that water leaves your house through one plastic pipe about the width of your thumb. Warm, dark, and wet, that pipe is paradise for algae, and by late summer the slime builds until the water stops moving. If your system has a float switch, the whole unit shuts itself down on purpose, and you get the famous mystery breakdown, the AC that just quits on the hottest afternoon of the year. If it doesn't have one, the pan overflows, and the news arrives as a brown stain spreading across the ceiling below. Either way, you're now making a phone call in the exact week when every company in town is booked solid, and the visit alone runs $75 to $200 before a single tool comes off the truck. And here's what that money buys. The man they send finds the pipe where it exits the house, holds a wet-dry vacuum against the end of it for about 60 seconds, and pulls the clog out. That's the repair. I've watched it happen more times than I can count. It might be the most profitable minute in the entire trade. So here's how you keep that minute for yourself. Find the drain line near your indoor unit and look for the little T fitting with a cap on it. Once a month during cooling season, pour a cup of plain white vinegar down that pipe. $3 a gallon, and the algae never gets started. If the line's already sluggish, take your own wet vac to the outside end, hold it there for a minute, done. Free, in your socks, in your own backyard. Now stop right there, because 2 jobs in, you can already see the shape of this thing. A garden hose and a $9 can sold as a $200 tune-up. A cup of vinegar sold as an emergency visit. Every item on this list follows the same recipe. A cheap part or a simple chore, dressed up in a uniform and a clipboard, priced like it took an engineering degree. Watch how it holds for the last three, because the numbers only get worse from here. Number 3, the filter. Least glamorous thing in the whole system, and it quietly controls everything else. A choked filter strangles the airflow, makes the fan work harder, lets the indoor coil ice over, and feeds the dust downstream that clogs the drain line we just talked about. The fix is 30 seconds. A basic pleated filter costs a few dollars at any hardware store. Slide the old one out, slide the new one in, arrow pointing the way the air flows, every 3 months during heavy use. That's the entire job. And filter changes are a line item on service plans. People are paying a company to drive a truck across town to slide a rectangle into a slot. But here's the part that'll surprise you, and this is a warning, not a sales pitch. Skip the expensive allergen filters, the ones with the biggest numbers on the box. Those high-rated filters are so dense that most home systems can't breathe through them, and they quietly do to your airflow what that dirty coil does to your heat transfer. The $4 basic pleated filter is the right filter for most systems. Why the fancier filter is the worst choice is a whole video of its own, coming soon. Now, the first 3 jobs never asked you to open anything. The last 2 live behind the side panel of your outdoor unit, and this is where somebody in a polo shirt tells you to leave it to the pros. So let's talk about that for a second, honestly. That panel is held on by 4 screws. There's no law behind it, no seal, no license requirement for what I'm about to show you. There is one real rule, and it's the same rule the pros live by. The power goes off first. Breaker and disconnect, both, every time. Do that, and the 2 parts behind that panel are yours to look at. And they happen to be 2 of the cheapest parts on the entire machine. Number 4, the contactor. Behind that panel there's a small block with heavy wires bolted to both sides. It's a light switch. That's all it is. When your thermostat calls for cooling, it snaps shut and sends power to the fan and compressor. And here's the part that sounds like a joke, but isn't. One of the most common reasons a whole system goes silent is a bug. Ants and beetles crawl in, get between the contact points, and one insect body the size of a grain of rice becomes an insulator that shuts down an $8,000 machine. The slower version is age. The points pit and burn over the years until the connection fails. Either way, the symptom is the same. The thermostat clicks and the outdoor unit answers with a hum or with nothing. The check takes 2 minutes. Power off, both places. Panel open. Take a photo of the wires before you touch anything. That photo is your way back. Now look at the contactor. Bug debris on the points? Brush it clean, and there's a fair chance your dead AC runs again this afternoon. Points burned black and pitted? The replacement part costs $20 to $50 online. Match the part number, move the wires over one at a time using your photo. The build version of that job runs $200 to $450 for a light switch. And sitting 6 inches away from that light switch is the king of the whole list. Number 5, the capacitor. The most replaced part in residential air conditioning, the #1 service call in America, and the single best money maker in the summer repair business. It's a little can that stores one hard jolt of electricity, and it throws that jolt at your compressor and fan motor every time the system starts, which on a hot day is 5 or 6 times an hour. Heat cooks capacitors. They swell, they weaken, and then one August afternoon, the unit hums, clicks, tries, and gives up. Now the arithmetic they'd rather you never do. The part costs $8 to $30. The same part, the one that comes off the truck. The average invoice to install it is $250, and plenty of people pay $400. That's a markup of 10 to 25 times on 15 minutes of work, and it lands hardest on whoever's most desperate in the hottest week when saying no isn't an option. Here's the check, and this is the one part on this list that demands your respect, so do it in order. Power off at the breaker. Pull the disconnect. Open the panel. And before your hands go anywhere near it, lay an insulated screwdriver across the capacitor's terminals, because that can holds its charge even with the power off. That's the whole reason they tell you not to open the panel, and now you know the rule that makes it safe. Now look at it. A healthy capacitor is flat on top. A dying one swells and bulges like a soda can somebody left in the freezer. Swollen means done. Replace it today. Photograph the wires, then buy a new one matching the 2 numbers printed on its side, the microfarads and the voltage. Those 2 numbers are the entire secret, and if yours is more than 5 years old, replace it on principle. A $10 can is the cheapest insurance an $8,000 machine will ever get. So there's your 5, and look how the recipe held the whole way down. A hose and a can of foam billed as a tune-up. A cup of vinegar billed as an emergency. A rectangle in a slot billed as a service plan. A $50 switch billed at $400. A $10 can billed at $400. Here's your Saturday, start to finish. Power off first, breaker and disconnect, always. Open the panel and take your photos. Check the capacitor for swelling. Check the contactor for bugs and burned points. Swap whichever needs it. Button it up, wash the coil, foam it, rinse it, comb the fins, clear the bushes. Vinegar down the drain line. Wet vac if it's slow. Fresh basic filter. Arrow with the airflow and skip the allergen aisle. Power back on and listen to it start clean. 90 minutes, less than $60, and you just did everything that maintenance plan was going to bill you for all year. One last thing before you go. None of this is secret because it's complicated. It's secret because there's no money in you knowing it. Nobody runs a Super Bowl ad for the vinegar trick. Nobody's getting rich off a $4 filter. The knowledge sits in the heads of the techs and the backs of manuals nobody reads, and every August it pays for a lot of new trucks. Well, now it's in your head instead, so do something for me. Tell me in the comments what state you're in and how old your unit is, because I read every one of them. And where you live changes which of these 5 matters most. Hit subscribe if this just saved you a service call, because the calendar is about to matter more than anything I told you today. Most of the AC units that die this year will die in the same 3-week stretch, and my next video is about the mistakes that put them in the ground, including 2 things you're probably doing right now. I'm Ray Dutton. Keep your cool, and I'll see you in the next one.